Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Eccentrist podcast. I'm your host, Vaughn Coleman, and today I am joined by two friends of mine. Guys, why don't you introduce yourselves?
What's up? I'm Cody. I'm from Maryland, and I'm a future film school student.
We met at film school this summer.
We did.
All right, and next guest?
Hey guys, this is Wesley Fagan, as always, hailing from New Jersey. I don't know anything about movies, but I like watching them, so that's me.
God damn it. All right.
Ruined the whole recording already.
No, it's fine. We'll keep it in. It's funny. So we're going to be talking about A Quiet Place today. So Wes and I saw it together with a group of, I think there were 7 of us. And yeah.
3 different
you
cars,
guys,
right?
You should have seen Infinity War. Infinity War, there were 10 of us.
Yeah.
No, I think there might have been, I think there were 10. Yeah, there were 10 of us.
When I saw Infinity War, I think there was like 10 of us too.
Yeah. Which, by the way, if you want to hear me talk about Infinity War, there's an episode of the Typecast movie show. It's a friend of mine. He hosts that. I was on an episode called that's the Infinity War review. I was on that one. I was also on one of his episodes called Top 10 Movies of 2017. Anyway, back to track. So, A Quiet Place. Let's talk about it. Okay, so
All right, let's do it.
Let's see. I'll give my thoughts first. So I thought it was because modern horror, to me, horror in general is a very hit and miss thing, where sometimes you get kind of in the middle where you hit a lot of things, you miss a lot of things. Modern horror, I feel like, isn't always the best. I feel like it has the potential to be the best, especially with the technical abilities we have now to scare people. But it's always so repetitive. But I'm happy to say that this film, I felt really exceeded expectations. I'd heard good things about it, but I didn't want to, maybe make it seem like it was going to be the best thing ever. But I was thoroughly impressed by this film. I thought it was so well made. John Krasinski, not just as an actor, but as a director, amazing director. Like already, he's I'm not sure how many movies he's done so far, but this is up there, man, with some of the better horror movies in my opinion. It's definitely one of the best I've seen.
What's the director's called? I can, you have the power of the internet.
Yeah, so do you know,
report back.
So actually, Wes, so for those of you who do not know, I'm sure a lot of you do, he's Jim from The Office, the actor, the main actor of the movie, right? The dad. He was also the director.
Oh my God, he's
Then he wrote the movie too, right?
Yeah, because someone originally wrote the idea and then he did some rewrites before he directed because he said, no, this is the story I want to tell. Which that's the thing. I watched him talk about it a bit. The guy really knows what he's talking about, and he has a very clear passion. And also, as someone who wants to direct my own movies, write my own movies, and star in them, because people make fun of me for that all the time. What are you, Tommy Wiseau? That whole thing. But he validated me for so well. He just nailed it. He did all of it, and he did it all extremely well. So I think John Krasinski did a fantastic job. I think maybe the standout thing for this movie is, despite being a movie called A Quiet Place, and it can be quiet at times. For most of the movie, actually.
The whole movie's quiet, except for 3
the
scenes.
sound design is incredible.
Oh no, it's incredible.
The diegetic, the non-diegetic, the soundtrack is kind of used a little bit. I wasn't sure how much soundtrack. I wasn't sure if there was going to be but whenever the soundtrack,
one song in the whole movie was soundtrack.
Yeah, there wasn't a lot of soundtrack because it was mostly diegetic, and it was done so well. Because both these things, I think, sound is extremely important in horror. That's why when someone covers their eyes, I don't think that's going to stop them from being scared, because you hear all the sounds, you know what I mean? And I think sound is something that sticks with you so well. And I think this film, on a technical level, is just excellent. And I think the story is very solid too. I think it's a really interesting concept. I like that they didn't tell you too much about the world. You just kind of know these things are in. You don't know how they got here and what exactly they are. I think they're aliens. I'm pretty sure that's what they are. But it's like you have these people living in this world. You know what you need to know. You don't need to know every little detail. And I think it's better off by not telling you every little detail, because I don't really care about every little detail of the world. I don't want to know. They tell you what you need to know, and I think it's really well done. You kind of know about as much as the characters. They probably know, if anything, a little bit more, which I like. But you know everything you need to know, and that to me is good, because mystery, the fear of the unknown, is kind of a good thing, and it's also like 90 minutes, and it's always nothing felt unnecessary in this film. Everything felt compact, like there was a reason for everything. Overall, just very solid film in my opinion. So, Cody, we'll go to you. And by the way, this portion of the review, spoiler free. Okay, so we're not getting into spoilers yet. We'll all give our thoughts, then we'll move into spoilers. I'll give you guys a warning. So.
Yeah, I've always been a fan of John Krasinski because The Office was kind of what introduced me to, acting, and then TV, and then film itself and everything, because that was the first TV show I really ever
My
really
mom
got
and
into.
my sister love The Office, and a lot of my
No,
friends.
I've seen it. I think like 3 or 4 times.
See, I haven't watched it in its entirety myself
Really?
personally. Yeah, everyone is gonna give me crap for that. I like walk into the room sometimes when other people are watching it, but no, I never really watched it on my own.
You've just seen episodes, like a couple episodes there and there,
Yeah,
here and there.
I've seen the first episode like a couple of times. So I don't know. But I think it's a great show.
Yeah, I've liked John Krasinski since The
I'm not
Office.
a huge comedy person, but I still think The Office is funny. John Krasinski.
Yeah, I love comedy, but he stuck out to me in the show. He was always like, I was drawn to Jim. He was my favorite character. He's very funny and all that. And I didn't watch The Office when it was on the TV. When it was on TV, actually, I forget what channel it was with, what company it was with. But I saw it on Netflix when it first came out on Netflix, and
Who hasn't? I think it's where we all see it.
Yeah. And it's really cool to see comedians like him, and then like Jordan Peele as well, directing such
and
incredible
actors,
horror
actors
movies.
in general too. I've seen a lot of them coming out and just directing movies. Just, I think it's great.
It was like Jordan Peele directed Get Out, which was also it's incredible.
I think I need to see that one again, but I liked it. Yeah,
I haven't seen it. I wanted to see it.
I missed the beginning though. I walked in when I got there, like I'm pretty sure they were already at or I think they were either driving to the house or were already at the house. But I missed it. There was
There's a lot of build up to that part. You have to rewatch that probably.
Yeah, then probably.
And then Jordan Peele, he's coming out.
Ending either. Anyway,
Jordan Peele's coming out with a new horror movie, isn't he?
Oh, is he?
I totally forget what it was called. I saw it on Twitter somewhere, and it's a big thing because he's like, I don't think it's a sequel to Get Out. I don't think it is, but it's just a new type of horror. And John Krasinski just did extremely well with this. It was almost ballsy to do this as a comedian, because to follow. I don't think his point was to follow Jordan Peele and kind of make another horror movie like.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
But for a comedian, in my opinion, for a comedian like John Krasinski and a comedian like Jordan Peele to go back to back with comedies, it was kind of ballsy on John's part to do that, because I could have given him, I think, bad rep for him if that was a bad horror movie. It was pretty good.
Yeah.
He directed one movie prior to this one. I don't remember what it was called.
All right, well, I'll have to look it up. So really solid movie. Yeah, that's another thing, is I think it's very original, and Guy clearly had vision, and I think he executed it really well.
Oh, and him working with the deaf actress too. I forget her name, but she was.
Yeah. No, we'll get into all of that. So, Wes, what were your thoughts on A Quiet Place?
Oh, it was very good. I really like how the tension was not built through visuals, because the monsters weren't really that scary on their own. The tension was like really built through the sound design, which I thought was brilliant. Like how the beginning of the movie, you're wondering, like, why are these people, other than the title of the movie, you don't know why they're being quiet. They're all like mouthing out words to each other and using the sign language. And it's slowly revealed that they know sign language because their daughter was deaf, and that's probably why they're still alive, because, later it's revealed that the monsters can't see, but they can hear. And I thought it was really cool, especially like when they were in the basement of the house, and
Yeah, the sound. Yeah, without going into spoilers. Yeah, we'll get more into the details later. But yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. Spoiler alert: they have a basement
Don't say
in the
yeah.
house.
Oh.
I mean, like, you have to be able to talk about the movie a little bit. I mean, geez.
Yeah, no, I thought you were about to say like spoiler alert. Yeah, no, and then just give a big spoiler. No, yeah,
then they all die at
Vaughn
the
has
end.
this very planned out.
yeah. No, so anyway, sorry. Continue, Wes. Sorry.
Yeah, see, and they all die at the end of the movie. Not kidding. Huge spoiler now. Yeah, but I thought it was brilliant, just how that was all laid out and how all the tension doesn't really come from the visuals as much as it actually comes from the sound. And how they hide and they build their surroundings to keep them quiet. Obviously, things go wrong, which is pretty brilliant.
All right. So yeah, that's our base thoughts. You heard that from each of us. I think we're not fully done, I don't think, with the non-spoiler. I think before that, let's talk about let's see. I'm going to talk about, so Cody mentioned that the actress and yeah, I want to mention the acting in this too. The acting is very solid, and we can go more in depth with individual parts of the acting.
Yeah.
But I think one part of the acting that I think John Krasinski killed it. And again, these people were barely able to talk, right? And their performance.
Yeah.
Because they had two big actors, like Emily Blunt. He got his real life wife to play his wife. Correct me if I'm wrong. Isn't Emily Blunt English? I believe
she is English. Yeah.
Yeah, because I don't think she was English in this movie. But
did she speak once in the movie?
Yeah, she spoke.
I think so.
Yeah, no, she did. She screamed, but then again, screaming's not enough to identify accent.
Oh yeah, she did speak in the movie.
Yeah.
Screams in English.
I don't think the girl ever spoke, but yeah. So
no,
Emily
she's
Blunt,
deaf.
John Krasinski especially, just excellent. Well, they were both really, really good. Emily Blunt and John Krasinski. I mean, obviously they felt like a real couple because they were.
Yeah.
But then John Krasinski as the father, just the whole, like the body language of everything, because not being able to express yourself, because through dialogue, the way they physically did everything was really good. So yeah, parents really solid. Next, let's talk about the kid from Wonder. Did you guys see Wonder?
Yeah,
no.
I love that movie.
I love that too. Yeah, I
only
read the
two
book.
movies have ever made me cry, and it was Marley and Me and then Wonder.
I haven't seen Marley and Me yet. Maybe I guess I need to. But I've had a lot of people tell me that it's very.
It's sad. It's sad.
Yeah.
Is
So
that about a dog?
Yeah.
Does the dog die in the end?
I can't spoil that. I don't want to spoil that.
I haven't seen it, but I'm just
I
gonna
can't
assume
watch the movie.
Yeah, that's another thing I got to give. They had a horror movie on the farm, and they had the decency not to kill a dog. Props to them. Because Wes and I saw another movie fairly recently where they didn't fulfill that part.
Oh yeah, that was the documentary about.
No, it wasn't the documentary. It was
Well, the movie. What was his name? The serial killer, right? Is that what you're talking about?
What movie was it?
No. That was something. He's talking about My Friend Dahmer. I'm talking about.
That was good.
Which we also saw.
Yeah. I don't know what movie we saw then.
The Witch. You remember that one?
The Witch. Yeah, that was also a good movie.
Yeah.
Oh, I've never even heard of The Witch, honestly.
All right, The Witch.
It's on Netflix, I think, right?
Both fairly recent, both good. My Friend Dahmer, I wouldn't call horror. The Witch is.
No, My Friend Dahmer's creepy.
Yeah, it's creepy, but I wouldn't say
creepy
it's
vibe.
horror.
But Ross Lynch did incredible.
Ross Lynch killed it.
No,
That's another thing. We're talking about comedic actors going into horror. He went.
Is Ross Lynch comedic? He's not.
No, he's from Disney Channel though.
Yeah, but
and he went from Disney Channel to serial killer, and he killed it. Anyway, before we get too sidetracked, let's get back to this. So anyway, the reason I brought up Wonder is the kid Jack Will. I read the book Wonder, by the way. I read it for school a couple years ago, like in middle school. But you guys know Jack Will from Wonder, the friend?
Yeah.
That was the kid in this movie. Really,
I didn't even notice that.
Actor. Really, I recognized him instantly. Really good young actor. He didn't do as much talking here, but yeah, John Krasinski knew who to cast because kid actors are very hit or miss. And in my opinion, bad acting in a horror movie really takes you out because if you're not convinced the characters are scared, then you're like, why should I be scared? You know what I mean? And there's even in great horror movies, there's a lot of acting that's iffy. But this movie, I didn't feel that way at all. There wasn't a lot of talking, but they were able to portray everything really good. I thought the kids were really good.
Oh yeah, for child actors, they were very good. Even as regular actors, I mean, like
Yeah.
last night, I was unfortunate enough to watch this movie. Now I don't remember what it was called. This is very
Oh.
bad, but it was terrible. Like all the actors looked like they just got out of diapers, and I had to turn it off. So for child actors, the actors in the Sound Place were very good.
All right. Well, I would have said if anyone in the comments could say what movie Wes is talking about, but that was so vague that
Okay, so the movie. Now, for the 5 minutes I watched it, they had the clubhouse, right? And they were all like, "Oh, we hate girls; they're gross."
When
And
this movie come out?
I don't know.
Noah Jupe is the actor's name.
It was bad though, but the actors in the Sound Place are very good. I was impressed.
I like how John Krasinski, as soon as I saw this in the credits, I was like, wow, what a stand-up guy. Like, it looks like he doesn't want to seem so full of himself. So because he already was director and writer, he's like, all right, I'll put my wife before me in the cast. He's like, I don't want to look like I'm the best at everything. He just seems so, like, down to earth. And actually, I know someone, my mom's friend knows, my mom is friends with the producer, really nice guy, who told me that John Krasinski is like the nicest guy in real life. And you could tell.
Yeah, he seems like he's the nicest guy.
He doesn't even put himself first in the credits, even though Emily Blunt was a main character, but John Krasinski was the main character.
Yeah.
Yeah, so John Krasinski, anyway, he did really good. And then the kid's name was Noah Jupe, the kid from Wonder. Really good job. And then finally, then there was that other kid in the beginning, cute kid. Going into spoilers, yeah, cute kid. Yeah, and then we got the youngest son, and then we got Millicent Simmons. I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing her name wrong. Millicent. Anyway, was the daughter, and so one thing about her, Wes, I'm not sure if you know this, is she was deaf in real life. I didn't even know this when I watched the movie.
I knew it before I watched it. I did some research on the movie before.
I didn't know that. So, but they got a real life deaf act. Did she ever talk? I don't think she talked during the movie.
No, she didn't.
I don't know if she can talk.
Yeah, I don't know if she can. But anyway, really, really good job from her. Just really overall.
Was that her first role?
Let me look at this.
Career?
Because they cast a deaf actress intentionally, and they did a really good job. She's had some minor stuff, but this seems to be her first. She had a role in something called Wonderstruck.
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now. Never heard of it though.
Oh, you haven't heard of it? She is. Yeah, because that's another thing. The actors looked to be the age of the characters. I think they were. I know the boy was. I don't think it says her age on here. If someone could maybe tell us in the comments, how old she is, or maybe we'll find out later. But yeah. Anyway,
Google.
We found her. Yeah, so we found they found her, and she was really, really good. And they filmed at an actual farm, I believe, for the film.
Where did they film?
I believe it was in New York. So yeah, that's another thing. John Krasinski really wanted authenticity. There's a scene involving a fire. I'll talk about it more in depth later. Where they actually lit a real fire. John Krasinski really felt dedicated. That's another thing that I feel like we need in horror, and just in movies in general, but especially horror now, practical effects. I love that. And they used that. There was some CG in this movie as well with the creatures, but it meshed together well.
It wasn't, at no time during the movie was I thinking like, oh, this is CG. Like, obviously I assumed it was.
Yeah, but I wasn't like
CG because I wasn't thinking like, oh my God, what is this?
For example, like, remember, Cody, have you seen The Thing? John Carpenter's The Thing?
I've wanted to see it forever.
All right. So it has like the best practical effects ever, the 80s. Then we watched the prequel, which is also called The Thing. Came out in 2011. But instead of using practical effects, which is what the original was known for, they went CG, and it didn't look as good.
Isn't that about a base in like Antarctica or something?
Yeah, you'll have to look into it. Anyway, very good movie. But yeah, my point is that practical effects are great. CG effects can be great when they're done well. But it's just like he cast like actors who were the age of the characters they were supposed to be playing. He cast a deaf actress to play a deaf character. Worked really well. He wanted her input on what it was like to live being the only one who can't hear in a family of people like that, the frustrations she had to deal with. He clearly wanted something to be as authentic as possible, and it shows in this movie. I think he went above and beyond the Call of Duty in those regards.
Yeah.
So yeah, anything you guys want to add to that? Or
No, I mean
think
she did an amazing performance. That was her legit first role in her
Yeah.
young career. She did extremely well.
Yeah, and these were so
And
yeah,
plus, working with such big actors like Krasinski and Blunt.
yeah, and they just seem so because they were just a couple like playing pretty much themselves. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah, but I mean,
a couple, like,
if I was in a
no,
movie
I
with
would be
them, like my
intimidated too.
first role in a movie with them, I'd be so intimidated. Even if they were the nicest people, I'd be like, I'm acting with these guys right now. I can't mess
No,
up.
for sure, a bit starstruck. But yeah, no, I guess they have to get past it at some point. But yeah, it's still they just seem so down. Everything about this movie seems down to earth, and real, and I like that. And also, these are pretty much the actors we just named. It's pretty much just these 5 people from this family. It's pretty much everyone in the film. Like you'll see a couple here and there, which we'll get into later. But it's
who played the old person?
Yeah, we'll get into that. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, we'll get into that. All right. So anyway, this is going to be the end of this. Hang on, Wes. This is going to be the end of the spoiler-free section. So, overall,
I have a big I guess not really a problem, but like just kind of
is
like
this spoiler-free or spoiler?
no, this is a spoiler.
All right, so let's hold on that. All right, so before that, I'm going to say I highly recommend this movie. I think it's an excellent, really well-crafted horror movie, and I think Hollywood needs to see more of this. If this doesn't win any Oscars, it's probably going to be on my favorites for the year, I would say, though I haven't seen Isle of Dogs yet.
Oh, I wanted to see that so bad.
Yeah, so we'll get around to that. I heard It Comes at Night last year was really good too, but anyway, in terms of this year, I think that if this doesn't at the very least get nominated for sound design and editing and all that, I'm done. I'm done because Get Out we saw get nominated, so I'm hoping that they show some more love to horror because horror, with the exception of like The Exorcist,
rarely horror movies get nominated.
It's like the Academy just wants nothing to do with horror.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if Rosemary's Baby got any recognition, but I know The Exorcist won. I think it won Best Picture, but I'm not positive.
Really?
Or it won something. I think it was Best Picture. Yeah. So this, I'm hoping at the very least, gets sound. I think the actors were really solid. I think John Krasinski deserves I think he deserves a director nomination too.
Maybe Best Actor.
Maybe even Best Actor as well. Director. I mean, because we had The Shape of Water, we already had an actress who played someone who literally can't speak get nominated. I almost thought she was going to win.
She was very good too.
Sally Hawkins could have won, but I think John Krasinski could definitely do that. But at the very least, sound design, then maybe director, then maybe actor. Point is, if you haven't seen this movie yet, I highly recommend it. Please go support the actual good horror because there's so many that rely purely on jump scares. And there are jump scares in this movie, but they're not those kinds. They're genuine because it's like so quiet that when something loud happens and it's not some artificial noise, at least as far as I remember, when it's something actually loud, there's legitimate fear, not just because of the noise itself that it makes you jump, but because of what might follow the noise. So there's no cheap jump scares.
Oh yeah, a lot of suspense.
It's genuine scares. Yeah, suspense. This movie is very suspenseful. It's real horror. It's really because scary to me is what is the whole before the jump scare, the whole what's going to happen when the jump scare happens. And this to me, even with jump scares, the jump scares just add to the tension and they're more than just jump scares. They're plot points. So I think if you should support this movie because it's genuine horror, we need to see more of this. We need to see less jump scares, less cheap jump scares, less cheap money grabbing horror and more artistic, creative, well-made horror. Well-made movies in general. I think this kind of movie needs your support, not just because it's not just financially, but also just it's an excellent movie. It's a win-win situation. I highly recommend you go and see this in the theater, or if you can't, rent it. It's absolutely worth your time. And it's short too. So highly recommend A Quiet Place. What about you guys?
I recommend it as well.
Yeah, if you're into horror, you should definitely see this movie.
Yeah. I think we should get out of the rants though and probably start getting into the movie.
Yeah, all right. So anyway, guys, that's it. Highly recommend. So that being said, now that I've recommended it, you can go ahead, pause it. If you haven't seen it yet, go see the movie because I seriously recommend it and come back here because there's going to be spoilers. 3, 2, 1. Let's get into it. All right.
All right. I got a big one that I never.
So if you've seen this movie, stick around. If you haven't, I'd say get out and come back.
Okay, so this was kind of like not a big problem, but I thought it was kind of almost stupid to add, almost kind of like almost cheesy, not cheesy, I don't know the word for it, but it was like day 430 something. But then why the hell would you get pregnant during this post-apocalyptic time?
Oh, see, I feel like it was probably I'm going to assume that it was an accident. That because they don't have exactly the best access to birth control. So as soon as that happened,
Okay, but the why have like I don't know. You just can't
he's married.
Fuck with that.
Because he's a.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty crazy too, but it does add to the tension in the movie later. But it is kind of ridiculous. You're right, and I think
but just adding like let's get her pregnant, to make it more like why, it's just I feel like that was just kind of stupid.
I think that added so much to the tension, the humanity, that of course they're still
of course
doing normal things, the couple. Yeah. I think that they're, without trying to get vulgar, I think that like it's a mistake, but it's something that they're gonna live with, and I think and it's very clear by the time that it was she wasn't pregnant during the opening scene of at the beginning, which we'll get back to. But yeah, no, I didn't have a problem with that when she was pregnant. I thought it made sense. I thought it was just it was just a little oopsie, and it could have.
There can't be little oopsies in this world.
But that's the thing is, I think it explains how like you can't have everything be perfect. Little things could go wrong and screw over everybody.
I mean, I'd like to point something out is it was like day 400 something now. No condoms have been made in 400 days. The world is over. So we're talking about like rotting rubber.
Stop beating around the bush. Yeah, let's
ending shelf lives of all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Let's be real here.
Yeah, I don't think.
Maybe 9 months earlier when they did, conceive, maybe the world wasn't in such a bad shape, and maybe it was in a different country. It's not, the monsters were at least.
Well, no, we know that they were in that place though before, because it starts off 89 days in, and
but did we know what town they were in, or did we just assume it was a small little town?
I'm gonna assume that. Well, no, we know it is because we see the same bridge later on that was in the opening scene.
Yeah, and
because there were only like three confirmed aliens in that town.
But consider this is they couldn't go far. They can only travel on foot, right?
Yeah.
The truck.
Oh no, they had the truck.
Even when they use the truck near the end of the movie, they roll it down the road. They don't start the engine. They just, put down the parking brake and so they can't really go anywhere except for on foot. And you see them laying down sand to walk quieter. So they're really limited to how far they can go. So I think it's safe to say they stay within that area.
Yeah, and I don't know how exactly they got the sand, but I'm sure there's a reason for it. Yeah. I don't know. Do they have that at farms? I don't know.
Oh, and also, this is a completely different, unless you guys have more to add, this is a completely different topic that I'm about to start.
Well, I was going to go to the opening scene. Is it all right if we touch on that first?
Yeah, this is in the opening scene, but yeah, you can go.
Oh, all right. So let's talk about that opening scene then real quick. I think that opening scene was really, really well done. It started off where it was just kind of like shots, like the first shot, if I remember correctly, wasn't anything too special or whatever.
No, but when the kid kind of ran by a little bit, that kind of scared me a little bit.
Yeah, I was like, what is that? I was like, is that a kid? That's someone else? Right? I didn't know whose kid it was. I was like, is that a kid? Is that a monster? I was like, what is that?
Yeah.
It's almost like, have you guys seen Child's Play?
Yeah, dude.
You know the scene where where the nanny is doing the thing, and you just hear the
Yeah.
And he just runs by. That almost reminds me of that. I was like, what the hell? It was unsettling.
Yeah.
And I felt, personally, a lot of people, I've heard people complain that oh, how can they be so stupid to let, or that the kid was able to get that toy? It was to me, it was when he asked for the toy and John Krasinski tells him no, I felt bad for the kid. I was like, come on, let him have
No, because it was for the
kid. I was like, at least let him keep the toy, if not the batteries. I was like, I just felt bad for him, so I understand why he had the toy, and I sympathized.
I mean, plasticky toys can be kind of loud.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So
why would you put the batteries in? Okay, just you could have the spaceship. Was it a spaceship or a rocket or something like that?
Like a rocket ship, yeah.
You can have the rocket ship. There was no need to put the batteries in there. like you're not going to use the sound anyways, or I guess you weren't planning on using the
Did he
sound. So
let
why
him
would you?
keep the rocket, or did he go back and grab that too?
No, the sister gave him the rocket.
Yeah, no, because the rocket I was fine with him keeping. I don't know. I still felt bad for him, even though I understood that you couldn't have the batteries.
Well, you have to feel bad for all of them because, you know, they're in this situation where they're going to get murdered by aliens.
Yeah, and like the kids not. Can you imagine? Like, because I was just thinking about this during the movie. I was like, Jesus, this would suck. Not be able to watch movies, not be able to listen to music, not be able to play with toys, not be able to.
But you adapt to it. You just become like, this is how it works. You have to deal with it.
Sucks.
Yeah, it sucks. Yeah, but they get, eventually I guess it won't suck because you're just kind of used to it.
It'll suck.
Yeah,
It's gonna suck forever, dude. Unless they kill all the aliens, which at the end they might have done it. I mean, we don't know.
I'm gonna assume they did.
They probably did, yeah.
But what happens here is I think so what happens is this all leads up to, and I think this was so well done, the kids behind them, and then the reveal that, because I don't think you see him. Do you see him grab the batteries, or is it just kind of implied?
I can't remember. I don't remember.
I can't remember, and I just saw it like fairly.
I think the kid might have, because remember, I think we're in the theater and we kind of looked at each other because I think the kid reaches up and grabs the batteries.
Oh, I think you're right. Yeah.
Right before leaving, and it's.
I saw the movie.
Like,
I saw the movie the day it came out, so it's just
Oh yeah, we saw it on Friday.
Oh wow.
So we're recording this on Monday. Yeah. But even I think you might be right though, Wes. I think you did see it, but it's just when the noise just starts, because I didn't know it would be as loud as it was, because I knew toys could be loud, but I thought it was just gonna be like a smaller sound. But when it's just this huge loud sound, it's just like, what I love is they take something as simple as just playing with a toy and make it terrifying. But the way they do it is where I think this was the first time when I realized the girl was deaf. Is when she's walking. Well, I knew the hearing aid, but I wasn't sure if the hearing or the ear device. So I wasn't sure if that was a hearing aid because she had trouble hearing, or if she was just straight up deaf.
Yeah, we learn it.
I thought yeah.
We learn later that she is deaf because it's really interesting when she's the focus of the screen.
That's what I was about to say.
There's no sound, which I think is genius.
Yes, and I like it. It's like the sound literally just cuts, and normally that's something that would seem so out of place in a film. Sound just. Like, because it shows, like, all the family members. Like, it shows, like, John Krasinski holding his son. Shows Emily Blunt. And then it just shows her face, and it's just nothing. No room tone, no background noise, absolutely no sound. You just instantly get. That's another thing I got to commend this movie for. Conveying information without dialogue. There's just, you just know, oh, she's deaf. Because at first you see the ear thing, and you're like, oh, is she deaf? Is she... have a hearing problem. Then you just sound cuts and you get it. You go, she's deaf. She can't hear her brother playing with the toy.
Yeah.
The toy comes and it's also just, you hear that noise. It's just terrifying, and you feel John Krasinski and Emily Blunt's pain. We're just like, oh my god.
But back to that part, why would, as that kid's the youngest out of the three children, right?
Yeah.
So why let that kid walk all the way in the back with a rocket ship? Why don't you put him why isn't John Krasinski holding that kid? Why is he holding the other kid? Why don't you put the younger kid up front or in the middle between the two parents? Why do you have to put him all the way in the back? He was fairly far back from all of them when he was playing with that toy. I just think it was kind of stupid to keep that kid. I don't know how old he must have been, 3 or 4 or 5. But
I think he was 4, I want to say.
But why would you? I don't think he really understands what the hell is going on.
Probably not.
I think he has an idea that's bad. Something's bad's happening, but I feel like he's just he's just doing whatever he wants to do at that point.
Yeah,
but
I mean,
I was annoyed when I saw that he was in the back of that line when they were walking. I thought, if that was my son and I was in this post-apocalyptic world, I would not put him all the way in the. I'd make sure I could see him in my vision. I would make sure he was near me.
I mean, even in real life, if you're walking with your kid, you wouldn't have them walk 20 feet behind you.
Exactly.
Yeah,
what the hell?
Because, for the most part, I would say they make really solid decisions, and I'm trying to think of a counter-argument for that. I can't think of one off the top of my head, so I'm just going to have to give that to you, because I've heard that before, too, and I can't think, because there are a lot of things that I think the family does that I think they're very smart for most of the film. This I don't really get, though. I think the toy part, I understand because it's a little kid. He wants the toy. I sympathized with the kid. I was like, "Oh, I'll give the kid the toy," and that's.
No, I didn't. I don't agree with you on that.
Right?
That kid.
But I do think that it's weird that he was walking behind all of them. But it did make for a great scene when he turns around and you just see the horror. The one thing is Emily Blunt just kind of stood there with her mouth covered. I guess she was.
Yeah, there's nothing you can do. You just kind of like, well, he's done.
That. And then when you see John Krasinski running and you just see that thing moving through the woods and the kids just playing with it. I don't know. That scene just to me felt so well done. And then it just hits the kid. It almost looked like a praying mantis, which I like. It wasn't like it was a creature on all fours, the aliens, which is so refreshing. Because I think about this, like how often they're almost always like humanoid looking. So it's not.
Yeah, it's not like a classic 50s gray alien. That'd be kind of stupid.
Yeah, it's not like a xenomorph or predator.
Well, are we sure they're aliens, or are they just like?
I think they're aliens.
I think they're aliens.
Did they ever really confirm they were extraterrestrials?
It's into that.
I'm pretty sure they are.
Throughout the
I
movie,
mean, they probably are. They probably are. I just don't remember ever seeing if like they came down on a spaceship and then attacked.
They don't seem as some extremely sentient or like extremely intelligent life form. Like it wasn't like Predator where it's like hunting for sport and it's like stands on two legs, or even an Alien. It was more just like it's there. We don't know how it got here. I'm going to assume some higher species probably dropped this thing off because this probably isn't the main population.
Right. These are very like insect-like stupid aliens.
Yeah, they look like almost like praying mantises, which I like the design. But anyway, I like the way it's shot, where he runs and it's just in the same shot. It's not two different shots. You see him run, and then the kid just gets grabbed, and then it cuts away. I like that it was PG-13.
That was an insane scene.
I like that it was PG-13 because, in my opinion, the effect of the scene. Like, because they could have easily gone with gore, but I think that would have been tasteless, and I think it would have been just detracted from it because it's just the whole boom gone. You make a sound gone, not this whole dragged out zombies eat you as you scream. No, it's just like snap and it's just over.
Also, when they cut, as soon as the monster or alien, whatever, grabs the kid, it cuts. Like I thought to myself, as soon as it seems over after I recouped from what just happened, I thought to myself like. How were they not like yelling or freaking out or
because I think it leaves you with unanswered like what they had to go through to survive that situation that they
your kid just died in front of you and you saw it happen.
Not only that, but he was probably still getting eaten and you have to walk away and you're like, oh man, this poor family.
It's like, oh well,
you have to be like
right
extremely
card, which is just it's like misty. What is it like mist and then it forms? I don't know. It's weird. Anyway, it's cool. The title card was cool. It cuts right from the kid dying, A Quiet Place.
Also, back to the beginning. It might have been like the first couple scenes. It was like some B-roll, and as soon as I saw this, I got really annoyed, but annoyed because the whole concept was everything's supposed to be quiet, and those aliens they have those insane hearing it's insane hearing, and. Yeah. There was newspapers like flapping around in the wind and like making a good bit of noise. And making a good bit of noise. And I thought to myself, if the aliens can hear anything, like why wouldn't they hear that newspaper and come right away to it and start just like effing it up?
They've probably come to that before and then they realize, oh, that's not anything good. And also they
don't. I don't think they realize it. I think they just hit whatever I think they were really stupid. I think they just hit whatever they hear.
Yeah, and I don't think their hearing's that good because, like,
that was the case.
When they were in the basement and the mom was like, she was breathing pretty loudly, and the aliens just kind of like aimlessly wandering around that tiny room.
Dude, you know those scenes where those scenes where it would just zoom in on the ear and the ear would expand?
Yeah,
I think they had insane hearing. It wasn't just.
Yeah, no, they did. But what I'm saying is they probably were able to differentiate because, for example,
they were just really dumb
later on.
Yeah, they have to be just really dumb, I think.
Yeah, but the waterfall, you know that they're not all like jumping at the waterfall and like killing themselves over it. So you know that they probably adapted to an extent. The newspaper also, compared to like the noise of the rocket ship, for example, wasn't as loud. But yeah, no, they definitely have some insane hearing. I think one thing we also need to realize is that's another thing I liked actually is when I was watching it, I liked the way they conveyed information in this movie visually, when they have the newspaper and it keeps flipping up and down. You're kind of reading it. It took me a while to finally hear it where I was like, I saw the word it's and it's like, it's something with an S because the newspaper kept flapping up and down. Finally, I was able to get, it's sound is what it's saying. I like the
also, why are you making newspapers in this? Why? Like, focus on the aliens. Why are you making like, oh, it's sound? Let's write an article about it.
All right. Well, I imagine that it's an old newspaper. So it starts off 89 days in. So we assume that this could have come much, much earlier. And then we cut after that whole chilling opening scene, we cut away to 400-something days in. But even still at the beginning, they're already in survival mode. We don't see the whole fall of society, which we didn't need to see. I'm glad we didn't. We just know what we know.
Something interesting I'd like to put out is society might not be totally over. Because I remember on top of the grain tower, they light the fire, and you see other fires.
Oh, that's another thing. Oh, sorry. I'll let you finish. Go. Sorry.
But, I mean, I was almost done anyway. And then you obviously have the old couple in the woods who are still there by some miracle, and then, they but yeah, you see, other fires light in the distance, and I'm pretty sure they only have one grain tower to stand on, obviously, so.
Why? Okay, I have to get into that. Why the hell, if there are other people, maybe 20, 30-mile radius of you, why the hell are you guys not uniting and living in one place and, taking care of each other? Why are you apart?
Because that's, more, I mean, it makes sense, because if you have more people together, they're more likely to make a lot of noise.
But you're more likely to live, better, more likely
though?
too.
I'm not sure. So. I mean, because obviously New York City is a very loud place. Now, obviously, if everyone's trying to be quiet, there'd be a lot of people.
But that's not New York City. That's just maybe a group of 8, 9 people together.
I'm using it as an example. The more people there are in an area, the more noise will naturally be made. And if they're more spread out, they're more likely to survive. And I mean, maybe they don't want to meet up with other people because, I don't know, stranger danger or something.
No, there can't be stranger danger in this world. That can't be.
If they're neighbors, maybe not, but you know what I mean.
Stranger.
No, it's just I wouldn't worry about stranger danger in this time.
We don't know if that was always their farm. I assume it was because they had the pictures of them. But
probably.
We see them 89 days.
Well, then what's the point of lighting if you're worried about yourself and not wanting to help the other families around? What's the point of lighting the fire?
It's probably just for comfort.
Hey, I'm here.
There's other people out there,
I'm
you know?
here if you need me, yeah. It's comforting.
But they never need you. I guess it's comforting, yeah. Comforting, okay.
I mean, the whole movie takes place over a couple selected days, Maybe they do have, giant, super quiet parties or something. Who knows?
Yeah, and my thing, because you were getting back to how, Wes, I think you commented on how you think the world's doing. I don't think society's collapsed either. I think it's definitely possible. I think someone else had to have figured out their weakness before. I don't think these were the first people on Earth to figure it out, but they just haven't been able to effectively combat all of them just yet. I feel like the East Coast would probably recover, some places have probably recovered faster than others. I think that
is this just national or is this all over the world?
We don't know. We don't know anything.
I think the movie hints at a couple of things. In the background of the lab in the basement, there's a newspaper that says, asteroid lands in Mexico or something. And I think
there are aliens.
Yeah, I think it hints that they're aliens and that they're all around the world, or at least in the Americas.
I think that the rest of the world's probably started to recover. Maybe there are still strongholds somewhere. Maybe
also, is it as if these aliens come in they came, wouldn't the world or the nation at least unite? Because we have all these big weapons at this point, these guns and these tanks and all that. Why couldn't we just destroy them all like that? I mean, how many exactly came?
It couldn't be a lot because either if the asteroid was big enough to have a ton of them, it probably would have destroyed the Earth by landing on it. So it might just be it might not be that huge of a scale of an incident. At the same time, people are really dumb.
Oh, yes.
So we have to keep that in mind.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so, so one scene I want to talk about is the whole – I like when John Krasinski takes the kid out, and it's the whole idea of the sound, the way it works, because they answer certain questions, why don't they come after certain noises? This is where I disagree with you on the newspaper thing, is because later on you get introduced to this idea of the waterfall. There's this really loud waterfall, and John Krasinski is able to just shout out and just really loud.
Why would you test that out in the first place?
Yeah, that I kind of wondered too, but I let it slide because what's cool about this is the way John Krasinski films it, right? Because he does it and he yells, and at first I'm like, can it really, like, that seemed kind of stupid. Can he really just shout like that? Because to us as the audience, because it's filmed from over his shoulder and then the waterfall behind him. But then what's really smart is he tells the kid to do it. And then it cuts to the shot up further away from the waterfall, and you hear his voice just completely masked by the waterfall. So it's like this whole shot. First you hear it from their perspective, then you see it from what would be the perspective of the aliens, and you realize, oh shit, this kid's shouting as loud as he can, and you can barely hear him. I think that was really smart. Really smart. No, visual and sound design, just really, that scene is one of my favorites in the movies, just because of how well it conveys that information, how cool it is. And they continue that with the river. I like how he explains this stuff to his son. I think it's so well done. Like,
because they're explaining it to us too, which is really cool.
How old is that kid in the?
And it's a matter of perspective too. It's all right. Well, the aliens hear. We hear it this way. This is how the aliens hear it. You understand why they can't hear us now? You know what I mean? That whole thing.
Yeah. They really are stupid. If like, geez.
I mean, when the raccoons are fighting outside and start screaming,
the raccoon.
I'm pretty sure the aliens don't come for them, right?
Raccoon.
Yeah, the alien kills, I think, one of the raccoons.
Yeah, but that was in the cornfield, so it wasn't like the
just
same raccoon.
Slaps the raccoon.
Yeah. Bye.
See, and how do they know? If back to your newspaper thing, that they probably like, oh, this is a newspaper, whatever. I'll leave it alone. They don't know what a newspaper is, so why? How would they know that that's a raccoon? I can eat that, or whatever I can do with it, or that's the human. I can eat that.
It wasn't even edible after they hit it. It just was like nothing.
But I think anything's edible to them. I mean, we don't know anything about them. They can eat whatever they wanted to, probably, you know.
No, but I'm saying because he squashed it, it was like just there was nothing. It was just like pulp.
Maybe they eat really fast.
Yeah, but why? But the thing about the newspaper is like
straw. Just
that newspaper was in my opinion, I think it was pretty loud for they could hear really well, so loud to them. But why wouldn't you come up to that newspaper and just like F it up because I don't think they know that's not real. This is real.
Oh, so you're saying is at some point they might have, like, even if the newspaper was still going, at some point it must have been cut, right?
I mean, think about this. There's probably more than one newspaper in the world, so they probably learned that noise doesn't mean food, you know? Like, animals can learn stuff.
But what's food to them? That's what I'm saying.
Well, probably not that loud. I mean, they probably, like, go up, hear it, and like, it's just nothing. They could probably detect all the minute details. It's like a waterfall. They realize, oh, that's this.
Like, this is water. This is paper. They don't know what it is, but they know the sound, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
And they learn that sound isn't important to them.
Yeah, they kind of like choose. That's the way I see it. So I don't think that any of these things are plot holes. I think it's questions that we're allowed to ask.
And the movie would really suck if it was just like, the aliens slashing at random stuff, or stabbing a river, or stabbing like a piece of paper. It'd be like, okay, enough, you know?
Yeah.
Like taking out alarm clocks.
Yeah.
No, or like flag. They're just all trying to jump at a flag. Yeah, no, I don't think. I assume they're stupid, but they're probably not stupid enough to not hear that. But yeah, anyway, the whole John Krasinski and the son dynamic. But the climax of the movie is so good. When it's like they're split up, you get they establish the characters really well. The daughter goes off on her own because she's mad at the dad for not taking her.
Oh, that was so stupid. That was just like
father and the son. Emily Blunt's about to give birth to this baby. What's cool is they show the calendar, so you know she's not expecting it just yet, and then it comes a little early, at like the worst time, and it's like they're all split up. He has to leave the kid to save the wife and daughter. It's like this whole terrible situation where they're split up, but it's not like they're split up like horror movies split up, where it's just like, oh, you go check this place out with just a flashlight. All right, we'll split into groups of 2. We're all split off on our own. It's not like that. Like there was genuine reason for them to split up.
They're adventuring.
Yeah. Cody, you cut your mic out, my dude.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. I'm here. I'm sorry.
Anything you want to comment on that?
No, you hit the nail right in the head. It's just both the idea of showing him that the waterfall and then the whole bond between them. It was good. Yeah. But also, you said something about leaving the sun too, and that was I don't know if I would. I don't know. I'm never going to be in that situation. So it's just like leaving
As
the
far
sun.
as you know.
Yeah, as far as I know. But putting the son in that situation as like, I don't know, how old was he? What, 9, 10 maybe? But putting him in that situation to go and light a firework, I don't know how many miles away he was, would be very scary for a 10-year-old to do.
And scary
And also the daughter leaving, like storming out because her dad didn't take her with her.
That's pretty dumb.
Take her on a field trip with him. Like, that's just so.
And at first when he said we need to make a loud
storm
noise,
out like that, when you know the circumstance, you know that your mom is pregnant, you know she's due soon. It was kind of selfish of her to do that.
Yeah. And I thought when he tells the son we need to make a loud noise, that he was referring to the rocket ship, because she just cut out the sound wires of the rocket ship. Like, she puts the rocket ship on the son's grave, the first son's grave.
Yeah, but I'm talking about when the dad dies at the end.
Oh, yeah, and we'll get to that in a sec, but one thing I wanted to say.
Is that all selfish?
No, I'm saying it was pretty dumb because you know how they can't hear, right? I mean, they can't see. He could have just yelled and then just, like, ran to the side because, like, we know
ran from that?
Wait, I thought of that the whole movie. Because couldn't you just make noise and then, like, scoot to your left a little bit?
Yeah, and then they would hear you.
The aliens are stupid. Like, when the mom's in the basement breathing really loudly and, like, moving stuff and, like, hiding, the alien's just kind of wandering around. Like, it doesn't know where she is. So, like, the dad could have just made, like, a loud noise and it just, like,
all right,
hang on. Tiptoed and ran at the same time. I don't know.
Yeah, I know.
All right, so hang on. All right, so a couple things. Yeah, no, it was kind of crazy that the mom survived that whole thing and managed to deliver. But I let that slide because the fireworks go off. She did scream a bit too early, I feel like. Like, if they ran off and then she screamed, but I'm pretty sure she screams while it's right there.
Wouldn't it just slash at her right there, too? Like, I feel like it'd just be like, this prey is closer than the other one. I don't know how many miles away. So if it was, I guess they really are really dumb because wouldn't you just slash at that right away and then go to the other one? Like whatever noise you allowed, I'll go to.
Maybe drown. Maybe it was a similar situation. I think maybe he needed another waterfall moment where it just kind of shows the perspectives. Maybe the fireworks were so loud that her breathing like was pretty much inaudible.
Yeah,
maybe. I don't know, but her screaming, I'm not sure about.
It's not like the fireworks. I mean, I bet you guys have seen fireworks before, like the 4th of July. They don't completely drown out sound. Like, I can still hear my peers talking to me if the fireworks spring off. It's not like those fireworks completely drowned their ears and did not hear her scream.
Yeah, but weren't these like more than fireworks?
I think they were
just regular fireworks.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know, man. I guess I gotta look into that. Yeah, no, the whole because the whole pregnancy thing. Oh, how she's gonna make out of it? I feel like she got out a bit easy, but then again, maybe I need to rewatch it.
Also, they built this. I'm sorry, Vaughn, for interrupting you.
No, go ahead. I interrupted you before. It's only fair. 2 wrongs make a right. Like, right, Cody? No, I'm kidding.
Yeah. They built a little underground, like, I guess, house for the baby. Why wouldn't she have just gone under there and gave birth?
Yeah.
Why wouldn't she do that?
It wasn't because it starts off with them putting up the paper. They don't know that it's ready yet.
Also, but but that baby, she was in labor for such a long time. So I feel like she could have made it.
Birth in like 10 minutes.
Oh, another thing, wasn't that in the barn? I don't even think it was in the same building. So she would have.
My point was, I don't know when her water broke. I think she was doing laundry when her water broke.
Yeah, I think she was in a different place. I'm pretty sure.
Okay. She gave birth. No, her water broke down the laundry room, and then she was walking up the stairs. For some reason, I don't know how the alien walked past the door. I don't know how the hell it got in. I don't know why I heard it. But I guess she couldn't. I guess she couldn't. I guess she could not have gone to the barn, even if she wanted to.
Yeah, I don't know what caused the alien to get to the barn in the first place. I'm trying to remember that.
I don't think it was drawn. I think he just walked in and just started looking around. They don't have any. Do they have a nose? They have any?
I mean, if they do, it's probably nothing special. I think it's just
because why wouldn't they be able to smell? Like, I don't know.
Because you can't breathe in space.
True, it's true.
That just made no sense, but okay.
Yeah.
Moving.
I mean, they came on like a meteorite or like an
I don't think they
asteroid.
came on a meteorite. They would have died on impact.
They came on an
Bro.
asteroid, right?
Asteroid crashes into Mexico.
No.
Canonized fact on a newspaper.
Are you sure you saw that and read that right?
It just said asteroid lands in
All right,
Mexico,
hang on.
but it was next
Let
to all
me
the
look
other
up-
alien-related
all right.
papers.
All right, you guys keep talking about the Quiet Place. I'm gonna look up. I'm gonna look up how they got there. Let's keep talking about the ending now.
So,
The ending?
Yeah. So because we were talking about the whole pregnancy thing, the whole everything, just that whole ending.
How far along? How early was she? Did we know?
I mean, the calendar only
Like
had like
almost a month. It was like
going
20-something
away from
days,
that.
I think.
Yeah.
Of course, she's a month early in this fucking world. Also, where you? I don't know. Like, where do you get formula? Where do you get? It's just
Dude, you
all
can
this.
breastfeed.
Yeah, wait,
yeah.
Cody.
Like, they didn't have formula in,
What
like,
do you mean?
what humans
Yeah,
existed.
okay, I know. But
Cody,
it's
you
just,
think
Bro.
cavemen had formula?
no, I know. Shut up. I know. Okay, I got it. She breastfed, but it's just like I don't know. And
Cody,
where
what's
do
her
they get-
breast?
Where do they get their food from? Would they just catch fish and eat that?
Yeah,
And
I
then
think.
plant. Yeah.
And they
Yeah,
have
all they're
greed,
like,
too.
they live on a farm. They have plenty of food.
Yeah.
Well, they have to keep really quiet, so they probably can't do anything crazy. Like, so yeah, fishing, and it's grain, I would assume. Which that's the thing. Also, when he falls in through the grain, I was like, man, it's just because one thing I like about this movie is just like small things going wrong, but they have huge consequences. Like even a family that lives as carefully as them, the smallest things could like screw them over.
Also, I guarantee you, I don't guarantee it, but some part of the United States, there has to be like a base for these people. Like, I guarantee you, it's not like it's free for all. The president's just like, fuck it, you guys can do whatever you want.
Screw you guys, I'm going home.
Yeah, like there has to be some type of
I
base.
think there
for these
is.
people. So why wouldn't these guys, these parents think to themselves, we should get out of here and go to this base?
Watch, someone's gonna make some shitty action movie off of this, like in the same universe. I swear, if this makes enough money, someone will be like, "Oh, let's explore on it." And
How
it'll
much did
probably
this
not
movie
be-
make?
Hopefully a lot, because it deserved it.
Didn't Infinity War make $1 billion in like 6 days or something?
Oh yeah, Infinity War. Oh, it's not even close to Infinity War, where nothing is.
Also, like you said, like making a shitty action movie, like a sequel to this type thing, like this is completely not the same thing. But like The Walking Dead, Fear the Walking Dead, like
I haven't seen much of Fear the Walking Dead.
no, but it's just like another
I gave
shitty.
up on The Walking Dead. I'm done.
You gave up on it?
Maybe I'll come back to it, but I watched halfway through season 8, and I'm like, this is stupid.
I watched your reaction to the season premiere.
Yeah.
On
I
YouTube.
don't know what I almost quit watching after that. And
No,
I feel like I
it's not
should.
even about zombies anymore. It's like people versus people at this point.
yeah, which we can get into at another time, but let's get back to what is this.
Off topic.
Right.
Sorry.
So no, it's all right. So let's start wrapping up. So let's get to so what do you guys think of the grain scene?
Grain scene?
You know, when they fall through the grain tower and it's just
Oh, I didn't know what the hell that was. I thought it was
corn,
like
I'm pretty sure.
corn.
Say
I thought it was
yeah,
corn.
corn.
Well, corn is a grain.
Yeah.
I think it was well done, but I think it was very lucky of them that the monster burst through the side instead of just like going through the open door.
Let the open doors on the top.
Yeah.
The
But I think
monsters can
another
fly,
good
though.
thing about that is it showed, because we knew the monsters were strong, but that showcased just how strong by having it rip through. You see, it just ripped through the steel.
But also, like when
nothing.
the kids were in the grain, like the alien heard them, and he was like slashing at their whatever they had on top of them. I forget what it was. It was part of
the
the.
was like
truck. The
metal-
top of the truck.
wasn't it?
No, it was the
Oh,
tower. It was part of the tower.
door.
Yeah, and if he's so strong, how does he miss these two
Well,
kids?
strength and missing aren't one and the same.
I think the movie tries to be convenient at times for its own plot. Like at the end, when the kids are in the truck, it's like banging on the top of the truck and stuff, just tearing it apart like it did to the grain tower.
It's almost like taunting.
I think
almost
that
like
the ending, yeah, I think definitely, but I think that lends credence to the big threat of the aliens too, is because they had such small things like falling in the grain tower screw them over. Like that didn't need to happen, but he makes it where all these little things go wrong. But yeah, there are definitely parts where like they could have died, but that's something you see in horror movies a lot, though.
and at the end, why the hell would Krasinski grab the axe or a sledgehammer and try to hit the alien? Like that obviously was not. It was an act.
Yeah, when he grabbed that, I was like, "Oh, that's badass." And then I thought about it for a second. I was like, "Oh, wait, that."
No, because if he would just walked with the kids and then got in the truck, and that alien would have done his thing and walked away, everything would be fine. But he had to be like big Superman, grab the axe and try and hit the alien. Like that alien would not have been fazed by that axe.
Yeah, and there were so many pieces of like loose metal and buckets and stuff in the shack where he grabbed the axe. He could have easily just walked away from it and thrown the axe at all the buckets and stuff, and they were made a lot of noise, you know.
And didn't he have the shotgun before?
Yeah,
No,
no.
the
So
wife
here's
had
the
it at
thing.
the house.
When he saw the shotgun, I was like, "Why doesn't he just use that on the aliens?" And then I thought about it for 2 seconds, and I realized, well, if he shoots, everything will hear it. They'll all converse and kill him. So the shotgun, we don't even know if it would work. So it makes sense why he hadn't fired the shotgun yet. Second, I don't think it would have killed the thing. First of all, if he tested it out, he probably would have died. Even if he did take one of them down with him, or even if he injured one. So at first when he had the shotgun, I was like, why doesn't he carry that with him at all times? And then I realized it would endanger the family and himself. But the reason why it worked at the end, if you remember, is because the head spreads completely open from the sound.
Yeah.
And so he shoots literally through, like gets through, doesn't even touch the skin because the skin is so resistant, right? For example, the axe, John Krasinski just hits it and just cuts him instantly. Which, yeah, picking up the axe admittedly wasn't the smartest idea. Again, I think I got to remember the full context of that scene. How exactly, what caused him to get the axe again?
Someone made a noise or something, and then the alien was like, he said, get in the truck, and they all the girl got under the truck, the guy got in the truck. And then John Krasinski was walking towards the truck, and then he saw the axe. The alien was right above him, and he just swung at it. And that was it.
I mean, was it extremely smart decision? No, but let's be real here. Would we all make the smartest decisions all the time? I think he was just it was almost like a parent instinct of, I gotta protect my kids.
It's like panic.
Or he was just like really mad that he had to deal with this for like 430 days. He's like, he's tired of this shit.
Yeah, because I think it's like I felt for him too. I was like, yeah, you grab that axe, and then as soon as you start swinging, I'm like, wait a minute, didn't that just tear through a steel door? So I think it was more like an emotional decision because that's what we wanted to see. We wanted to see him come in and just kill them with the axe. That's how I felt. So I was with him again, kind of like I was with the kid in that opening scene. Again, I was emotionally with him because that's the thing. We as people aren't always logically motivated. Sometimes we're emotionally motivated.
And it's like in the moment too, so anything can happen, you know?
Yeah. So, and I think his death was so well done when it's on the kids and he just goes, says in sign language, he's like, I love you. I have always loved you. And then his last scream.
Oh, that was so sad.
That was hard. Oh,
I teared up.
That was so sad, but come on, you could have walked to the side.
All right.
Yeah, he could have just yelled and walked away.
Here's why he couldn't have. First of all, his side was cut. Second of all,
he had legs.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter. He was. Second of all, they would have. All right, you think you would just sidestep a thing that big and it'll just be like, oh, where is he?
No, not sidestep, but almost like somersault to the side or something.
Remember, the wife literally screamed in the stairwell when she stepped on the nail and then just walked to the side. And
is that what prevented? Oh, that's what led it to the house then in the first place, was screaming.
Yeah, when she screamed because she stepped on the nail in the floor.
No. I think it was. Was it the nail? Because I thought she was doing laundry, and then as she was walking up the stairs, the alien just passed by. I thought she stepped on a nail after that.
I don't know. We'll figure it out. We'll anyway, we touched that scene already. Let's get back to John Krasinski's death at the end, really sad death. I was like, man, that sucks. But it was like you knew because he promised his wife, he's like, I'm getting them no matter what. And then you really wanted them all to make it back, and it sucked seeing him not make it back.
It's a smart move by the kid, though, to know to
Even
move
like
that
my
truck.
favorite horror movie, Halloween. It's like the
Oh, I
people.
love Halloween.
Yeah, the people who you like don't want to die are very few, and they pretty much make it. Jamie Lee Curtis and spoiler alert for Halloween. Jamie Lee Curtis and
No one hasn't seen Halloween.
Yeah.
You're good.
Jamie Lee
I've seen
Curtis.
all the movies.
I've only seen 1, 2, and 3.
I like the third one, the Halloween one.
Yeah, my mom.
Fuck.
hated
I mean,
that's another
podcast.
podcast we could do is slasher movies and Halloween. But
Yeah.
anyway, getting back to this, yeah, it's like for example, the only characters we really cared about were like Dr. Loomis, like Donald Pleasance's character, and then Laurie Strode or Jamie Lee Curtis's character. So it's like normally in horror movies, like the people you don't care about, which is most of them because they're idiots, are the ones that die. So it's when you see people that you actually like are really well developed, when you see him die, it's like, oh man. And he dies a heroic death. Like his last scream to me, it's like almost like him like letting go of all the stuff he's held in over the past year and just, finally like take me on, I don't know.
Yeah.
To me, that death was so well done.
Yeah.
I think that might be one of the best. I think the best scenes in the movie are the waterfall scene.
I was kind of
like,
disappointed by the ending because I get it that she cocked the shotgun and she most likely killed the 2 aliens, but I would like to see what happened, like the relief that they had after the aliens were dead, or like what they did after that.
Yeah, I feel like the cliff ending is kind of a cliche, where you have to like decide what happens in your head. I don't like that, but I get why they did it because it's like, I don't know.
I get it. Yeah, I didn't think it was perfect. I
don't get why they did it. I don't get why they did it.
I don't feel extremely satisfied, like necessarily, but it's like I wasn't also really upset by it either. I feel like it was just kind of like, it was.
No, I wasn't upset by it.
It was a good ending. I didn't think it was was it perfect? I don't know if it was perfect. Maybe in retrospect, I didn't think it was bad either. I thought it was a good ending, and I don't think it was ambiguous. I think it's pretty clear that they would have won, in my opinion. I think the aliens, because I think it's also like
but there were 2 there. You saw them in the camera. Both of them came at the same time. So how would that have changed the way they did it? Because now you have to worry about 2 aliens fucking up your basement instead of just 1.
I really hope they don't make a second movie though.
Oh no, I really don't.
At least not with that family. If you want to make a shitty action movie, if you want to make a shitty
wait, would you say The Purge?
I haven't
seen The Purge.
Oh, I thought you just said The Purge. That was my bad.
No, I said if they want to make the shitty action movie that I was making before that's not connected, like, oh, they came from the sky, whatever.
No, please God.
If at least don't touch this story. I think this story with the family is wrapped up. I think let's leave it.
I wish I really would have seen what they did afterwards, though.
Part of me kind of does too, but then again, I guess it's kind of like, yeah, I kind of would have liked to see it, but then again, maybe it's just kind of like you end on that in my opinion, optimistic note, and just kind of like the pumping the shotgun, like we're gonna get this done.
I mean, this is Hollywood, so we can at least expect to see the Silent Place Vengeance and the Silent Place Revelations, or
then
bullshit.
Resurrection. You got to remember that.
Resurrection, of course.
When you're like, shit, where do we go now? Just start again.
No, but also this is what, the 450th day or something. One day I figured out, I assume by now, that her hearing aids kid messed with the audio on the microphone and then messed with the
hearing aid.
Oh, it was a new one.
Wait, that's one question I have, and then I think we'll start to wrap up because we're literally on the last scene of the movie. But one thing is, so the hearing aid, could she constantly hear that ringing?
No, it was only when she came here, the aliens.
So the alien, but would a normal human hear that ringing?
No. The aliens had something in their with their hearing and like their temporal lobe or whatever the hearing is.
Because the ringing always came when she was near the aliens. So I guess the ringing was so faint, like a human wouldn't hear it, but I guess it's because they can hear so well. All right, that makes sense. I think perspective was a huge part. Suspense. It was very suspenseful, very technically well made, I think the characters were really well done. John Krasinski's death was very satisfying. I personally do think looking back to the ending was pretty satisfying.
Satisfying? Are you evil?
Yeah, I know, right?
No, I didn't mean it like that. I meant like emotionally, like fulfilling. It was
Dude, bro.
No, I meant like
His death was very satisfying.
Jesus,
Very aesthetic.
I meant like as opposed to like a typical crappy horror movie death. It felt like he died a hero.
Yeah.
You know,
I know.
Where like he says "I love you" to his kids. I was like, man, that sucks. I knew it was a great scene, but I was like, as soon as I saw it, I was like, that was a great scene. But I was also thinking at the same time, man, that just sucks. Like there's no way around it. It sucks. But yeah, that's I think I've said I was worried that we wouldn't have a ton to talk about, but I think we had the opposite problem. I think we had too much to talk about.
Yeah.
Man, so good. All right, so I think I'm going to start wrapping up here. So anyway, yeah, if you can't tell, we really liked The Quiet Place. I loved it.
It was really good.
Great.
Very.
And I'm probably going to rewatch it at some point. So yeah. I don't like to give things number ratings, but I'm just going to say I think it was absolutely outstanding, phenomenal even. I thought it was very, very well made.
I think it was definitely an 8 out of 10.
Yeah, I wouldn't normally rate things, but if you, Cody, if you want to.
Wait, why wouldn't you rate it a 10?
Because I don't know, because I don't really like to rate
No,
things.
I'm talking to Wes. To Wes.
Because the movie did have some flaws, like how she was breathing really loudly in the basement, and this monster who could hear her from like maybe even miles away couldn't find her, and how the dad didn't move out of the way. And I didn't talk about this.
I don't think
Dad couldn't have moved out of the way.
Yeah, the moving out of the way is more of like a joke.
Bro,
That was a joke.
I don't think.
No way. That's a serious.
No, I mean like,
Yeah.
but it's there. And
No.
I didn't talk about this, but one of the newspapers showed like some soldiers shooting at an alien, and the headline they're indestructible.
Yes.
And then at the very end, they just blow its head off with the shotgun.
Yeah, but it's because it's armor. Like it's whole skin.
No, but like you don't think while fighting the soldiers, it didn't open its head up like it did like 10
I
other
think it
times?
did.
Also, why would you take a picture like that
Yeah,
during?
that's what I was saying before.
I
is
don't
that
know, but I'm not the. Hey, I didn't take the picture. They did. Okay.
Well, that's what
Yeah.
I was saying. I think that maybe the military didn't know at that point that I assume they probably figured it out down the line.
I think if
That-
a farmer in the middle of nowhere can figure it out, the government with billions of dollars and like 10
No,
million.
I think they did.
could probably
Our
figure
government's
it out.
pretty stupid. I really don't know.
No, but I think I think they did. But I think because you see that newspaper very early on, I think there's no reason to suspect that I think it's some part of the world they did figure it out.
And dude,
Like,
they
they
got
haven't
bombs and
fixed
stuff. They could
everything
just
yet.
blow the aliens up with like a rocket launcher.
No, yeah, I know.
We don't know what's going on with the rest of the world. But my mindset is that people have figured it out, but they're still working on solving the problem.
How do you figure out that they're freaking blind?
That's
Because they
pretty
don't
easy
see
because there's wandering around aimlessly until you make a noise.
No, but
Dude, they
wait,
have
what'd
no
you say? I
eyes.
didn't hear you. Repeat what you just said.
You know, they're like it's pretty easy to figure out because they have no eyes, and they're just wandering around aimlessly until you make a noise.
All right.
Well,
Well,
if I saw one of those things, immediately my instinct would run or like to yell or something. I wouldn't just sit there quietly like looking at that. So like I wouldn't know if they were blind or not.
The
all right. Well,
military
guys,
would know.
we could continue this, continue thinking all or not. But the point is, so Wes had his issues. Fairly said. I think the sidestepping thing is really.
Whoa.
Go ahead. Yeah, continue.
Sad.
Continue.
No, it's all good. You said my issues were sad.
No, I didn't say that. I said no. His issues were valid, is what I meant. I don't know.
Oh,
Why.
I was like, bro.
No, I said your issues were valid or some
Yeah, yeah.
variation of that. I guess I'll see when I overlook. But if I said sad, didn't mean to say that. Thanks
I
for
was
making
like, be
down
kind to
myself.
your guest. Yeah, I
No,
think
but,
a second viewing would probably be like, pretty good just to see what we didn't see the first time, because they're gonna be looking for stuff.
Yeah, but anyway, yeah, that was our thoughts on A Quiet. Cody, do you wanna add your thoughts?
I would probably give it a 7 or 8 as well because there was a good bit of stuff that I was annoyed with, like the newspaper and then the not uniting with the people around you. Because I think I would have united. I don't know. And then, the fact that the monster was right by Emily Blunt when she was giving birth, and then the firework went off, and then it just ran away. And as she yelled, I don't know. There's a good bit of errors, I think, or maybe not errors, but I would probably give it a 7 or 8 as well.
Yeah, and that's one thing I'm liking about this podcast is I'm even now thinking of things a couple things we didn't touch on, but I don't think we need to go into them anymore. It's just there's so much, like a 90-minute movie, and we could spend just as much, if not more, time talking about the movie. You know what I mean? It's just there's so much to talk about when it comes to movies, and that's one thing I'm liking about this. But yeah,
well, I also loved the fact that it was 95% of the movie was silent. Like I remember I couldn't even.
Short it was too. It was short and sweet.
I remember I couldn't even move in my seat without disrupting the theater.
Yeah, or like I forget. Someone was like, my friend and I were like both having popcorn, and I was at a point. I was like, I can't do this.
The popcorn.
No, this lady.
One guy was coughing, and I was like, you're dead.
This lady bought nachos.
Oh,
she was eating it right, she wasn't next to me. She was a row in front of me to my right, and she was like notching all these nachos, and you could hear it was.
And there was Wes. Did you hear there was someone like coughing in the theater too?
Yeah, and I don't want to say his name, and to be honest, I can't really remember it. But one of our friends, he had his phone on full bright at the beginning of the movie, and I was like,
when? I didn't see this.
You might have been out, getting a drink or something.
I didn't go anywhere during the movie.
No, before the movie.
Oh.
But, I was like, dude, you should turn your phone off.
Oh, well, anyway. Yeah, so this is also, that's another thing is the quietness, seeing it in a movie theater, I think is a really good experience because seeing it or at home in the dark, point is that's the best way to see it, in my opinion.
You felt like you were in the movie.
Quiet as possible.
Yeah.
When that's another thing, jump scares are valid because when the characters jumped, I jumped. Was scared for the characters, scared for me. That's one thing I liked about this movie.
I also liked that there wasn't a lot of horror movies now base their scariness off of jump scares. So
and this felt genuine.
I liked how there was jump scares, but there wasn't a lot of jump scares. There was a lot of suspense and
it was tasteful.
Yeah, I like that.
Have you seen the movie Annabelle?
Yeah,
I have.
That movie was horrible.
I've heard it was awful.
I thought that got good reviews.
No, The Conjuring did. Not Annabelle.
Yeah, The Conjuring was really good.
All right.
I got a lot of jump scares. Was crap, Jump scares are usually pretty bad.
Well, we can talk about horror another time. At this point now, I'm gonna have to just say that's it. We're done. So
yeah, I gotta eat dinner.
Before we head out,
Dang, dinner! It's like 10 o'clock.
Yeah, what are you doing? All right. No, anyway. So before I head out, you guys want to promote anything?
Nah. I changed my mind on that social. I'm good.
All right. Good. Because we'll have it on the screen. But I was just wondering if you had anything in addition. All right. So that you're good. All right.
I'm great.
All right. Well, thank you guys for coming on. It's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Thank you.
Yeah, I had
if you ever want to come by again, feel free.
Oh, definitely.
All right.
Yeah, totally.
See you guys next time.
See you next time. Whatever
All right,
that'll be. We'll
Bye.
See you later.